Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So, it is the beginning of a new week, and I just wanted to pop on because I didn't do it last night and do a hookum, a random message, as well as drawing a card for the week because I just was feeling compelled to say good morning, buongiorno. Make sure you're hydrating no matter where you live, if it's cold or if it's hot. The body needs lots of water to hydrate. It's the only way you can get rid of all those toxins is to carry it out in one form or another. My dad just sent me a message saying he was going to be heading over here, so I will try to make this as short as possible. So the cards that I'm using, and I've used these before for those of you who've been following me for a while, they're called Notes from the Universe by Mike Dooley. I love these. He's got a great sense of humor, and he plays with words the way I like words. Words are amazing. So you've got these beautiful, beautiful cards. And I'm just wishing you all a wonderful start to the week. Let me know how you're starting out your week. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and holiday with friends and family, whoever you call family. Thanksgiving is always something you can practice every day, being grateful for what it is we have. We're very blessed. I know I am. I know I am. I'm blessed. So for all of you who are tuning in, this message is meant for you. From my heart to yours. So, I'm feeling this pink. Maybe I'll pull a second one because love in spite of it all. This is today's card. On the back it says, we'll read, before this odyssey ever began, there was you, your best friends, and wide-eyed curiosity among you about who would be the first to leap, the first to forget, the first to kiss, the first to tell, the first to fall, the first to get back up, and the first to remember that it all began with a dare to love in spite of it all. And then it says, love, is that you, Murgatroyd, the universe? P.S. I remember the glint in your eyes, all three of them, which is kind of funny if you're thinking 2, 3. So, love in spite of it all. No matter what comes up for you in this week, because some of us, sometimes we are challenged in our daily lives to tune in and tap into what is really bubbling up below the surface. Notice if you have triggers, if you have things that catch you off guard, that rub you the wrong way, something you dislike. What is it that you can find that you do like? Because when we're caught off guard with something in a negative fashion, that's a call to action for you to look at what it is you appreciate. It's easier to get caught up in whatever the main focus is. If something triggers you, it's an opportunity for growth. What is it that it's trying to tell you about yourself in this moment? What is it that you can learn about yourself? Become more intimate with yourself. Into me I see. A trigger is something that has come to the surface for your attention so that you can heal it and move forward from it. It's not meant to wallow in the misery of it or to point fingers out at other people. Oh, you did this to me. It's all your fault. No, that's called playing the victim. And that's taking on a role where you're not taking personal responsibility or being accountable for your part in that as well. Because your part in it is your belief around it, your attachment to it. Yes, triggers are attachments. Triggers are, hello, I need attention. I didn't heal from that old trauma. A trigger is an unresolved trauma. It's coming from your past. And what it's trying to tell you is, it's time to let go of it. I'm here because I'm ready to go. But if you hold on to it, you're still attached to that old wound and how everybody around you is bringing it up and you're blaming them. Ask yourself what it is about that trigger that you don't want to let it go, that you don't want to see it from a different perspective. Because when you take it and go, oh, it's really not that big of a deal. Why was I holding on to it for so long? When you can go, wow, it was only because of that time when it really bothered me. And you never allowed yourself to forgive and to resolve and let go of it back then. So anything that comes up that is surfacing from your past is just your chance to grow forward from it and not be stuck and imprisoned to something that no longer serves you and certainly isn't a part of your present. The only reason it's present for you is because you never let it go. And that means you're living in the past. And the only way to live in your future is to be present with what is versus the perception and the filtration of the past experiences carried into the moment. The mind only knows the past. And so often we are triggered because it's trying to protect us from repeating the past. Yet it anticipates reliving the past because that's all it knows. But the truth is, this moment is brand new. And you don't have to get caught up in that old crap. So if you have any further questions, let me know in the comments how that resonates with you. Let me know later on too, because I know for myself, there's always something, and that's the blessing of life. Is that in order for it to be more vibrant and enjoyable, I have to be willing to own and accept that I play a part in the trigger, and it starts up in here. So, oh yeah. So what I do is I pull a random card from the deck, and then I turn it over to the very back. And so in the very back we have, when you begin to find love in people and places where you haven't found it before, it's always because you've given, you've grown. Gosh, I saw given in that. It's so funny. It says, you so rock the universe. That is a perfect segue. All there is to love has been there all along. So to follow up on this particular message that we just got, that to love in spite of it all, the beautiful part about that is that all there is love, and it's been there all along. Your mind chose to see a trigger when it wasn't even necessary for you to see it in that way. That's the universe showing up and saying, hello, there's love in this. I'm lovingly giving you this trigger, this gift, for you to move forward and grow from. And it's your choice. You can get stuck in the muck, or you can move forward and flow. Go with the flow. Because when you grow, you can flow. So that's today's message. I was also going to pull a hook in from one of my favorite books, because I haven't pulled out my book of secrets, my Osho book of secrets in a while. And I love this. This is so much fun. I also have another book that's kind of like randomly in here, The Gifts of Grace. I wonder if I pull this one. Oh yeah, okay, now this is going perfectly. See, this is how messages work. So on page 77, some of you probably are into numbers, there's the will for progress. There's the master. That's the title of this chapter. So these are from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. And I do believe that there is a message in everything, everywhere, if you're willing to look for it and show up to it. So at the very bottom, this is the message that we're going to read. Mastery over the mind. The control of one's thoughts is as necessary as the control of one's vital desires and passions, or control of the movements of one's bodies, for the yoga and not for the yoga only. One cannot be fully developed mental being even if one has not a control of the thoughts, is not their observer, judge, master. The mental purusha, manomaya purusha sashi anumanta ishvara, and I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure it's going to translate. It is no more proper for the mental being to be the tennis ball of unruly and uncontrollable thoughts than to be a rudderless ship in the storm of the desires and passions, or a slave of either the inertia or the impulses of the body. I know it is more difficult because man being primarily a creature of mental prakriti, identifies himself with the movements of his mind and cannot at once disassociate himself and stand free from the swirl of and eddies of the mind whirlpool. Take that into consideration. That means that we identify more with our thoughts than being present with what is. And that, like I just said, love is always there. It is comparatively easy for him to put a control on his body, at least on a certain part of its movements. It is less easy, but very still possible after a struggle, to put a mental control on his vital impulsions and desires. But to sit like the tantric yogi on the river, above the whirlpool of his thoughts, is less facile, easy. Facile is easy. Nevertheless, it can be done. All developed mental men, those who get beyond the average, have in one way or other, or at least at certain times and for certain purposes, to separate the two parts of the mind. The active part, which is the factory of thoughts, and the quiet, masterful part, which is at once a witness and a will, observing them, judging, rejecting, eliminating, accepting, ordering, corrections, and change. The master in the house of the mind, capable of self-empire, samaraja, the yogi still goes further. He is not only a master there, but even while in mind, in a way, he gets out of it, as it were, and stands above or quite back from it and free. We have the opportunity, if we so desire, to take control and mastery over our minds. Again, the trigger is only a trigger because you choose it to be, because you've held on to it for so long. It just arises for the opportunity to let it go, to heal it, to accept it, to honor it, whatever it's meant there for. It's only for you. And only you know it's true. And the reality is, it's all up in here. So mastery over the mind, observing the thoughts, witnessing them. You don't have to judge them. They're not good and they're not bad. They just are. But the attachment is to the meaning we give it, to the not wanting to let it go, to hold people outside of ourselves accountable for the way we feel, is to disempower ourselves. The true power lies in taking the ownership, being accountable, taking responsibility, recognizing you're the one who has the power. Don't give that away. Don't allow some little trigger, a noise, a tone, the way someone looks at you, because that's in you. And they're just the mirror to reflect it back at you, to recognize that, wow, I am that too. Because we are all inclusive of one another. Your vibration is going to draw to you where you're at. The people who show up to you are in constant challenge for you to grow. We grow in relationship and how we relate. And how we relate to ourselves is how we will relate to another. There's no escaping it. You can keep rejecting yourself by rejecting another, or you can allow yourself to step into that place where, wow, I honor that in that other person. That's an honoring of yourself. Everything you see in another is something that's part of you. See, Buddy agrees. He's just comfy on his little mat. He has the look like, where's our walk? It is extremely windy outside and it's chilly. We're getting a cold day here. And so, again, I wish you a beautiful start to your week and your Monday. Take this day and ask yourself in every moment, where is the gift? Where is the love? We are more willing to see what is where we're at instead of just looking for what we want. What do you desire? What fuels you? What brings you that sense of love? Because love is who we are. We are not all these triggers. We are not all these little nuances, but yet they are part of what have made our experiences. And we don't need to separate and say, this is good, I accept this, and this is bad, and I reject this. No, we have to own it all, because that's who we are. All the sum of our parts, all of it. And so, I love you very much.